flourishing career. Many even had the opportunity to represent Ghana on the global stage at the Miss Ghana or Miss World event. It indeed worked. But today, several of the former beauty queens have come out raising the alarm about how they were abused in many different ways. Let's listen to one of them.
The thing is, the moment you come out and you want to work with somebody, they start behaving like you are controversial, you are difficult. They rather prefer to be with the other person because the person is already successful and you, the upcoming, they don't want to deal with you. That's the issue right now. It's not just about, you could come and say, but no one would want to work with you.
Yeah, but so you would want to sacrifice other women, young women, especially vulnerable ones, to a scheme that is so, terrible, and perhaps that would exploit them. Just so, do you understand the conundrum you find yourself in?
I do get it.
It's difficult. Stephanie spoke a law, Delali spoke a law, and I'm speaking to Stan. So it does seem like the head of the organization is a problem, and it's quite difficult to actually, effect change if people are not ready to make sacrifices.
I know.
So I just want to make this brief, but at least recount some of, the experiences you had that you think shouldn't have been in the case. For instance, not before we talked about, the statement where they said I had stripped off the title and all this kind of stuff. What were the leading, problems or the leading issues that you had with INA or the organization itself?
Okay, the first thing is that it's a family business. And mom, her sisters, everyone is a director of the company. Okay. So when I won, I didn't get my car immediately. It was like after some time that I got my car. So she had like a small item.
Is it a car I saw you driving? Is it still the same car?
No. I don't have any Miss Ghana car with me. No.
Oh, they took the car back?
They took the car, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I thought that was the car when I saw you the other time you were driving. But anyway.
No. So the first one up was the one driving one of the items because it was manual and I couldn't drive manual.
Okay.
So she was the one driving, but she was using her money to buy fuel. So we complained several times that she has to give us fuel money. And she said no, she can't give us fuel money.
Fuel money for if you are driving and going around looking for boys, why should INA pay?
For sponsorship.
Okay, for sponsors.
Yeah, for sponsorship. So we're supposed to drive around and then go from one company to the other for sponsorship. But we asked for fuel allowance and she said no, she cannot give us fuel allowance. We should find our own way of getting fuel. So I think after 1 month, the first runner-up, she said she won't do it again. She's tired. So it was left with me and the second runner-up. Then she's like, so my car came and she gave me the car, but it was in her name and everything. And she said the car, it wasn't given to her by any sponsor. She bought it with her own money. So that means I have to now work for it before I can get it as mine.
Yeah, but within your price package list, was the car not part of the prices?
Was part of it.
So why I've already worked for it by winning the pageant, wasn't it? So
yes. So I told her that, but that's what you didn't tell the world that. You told the world I'm getting a car. So how you got it, I don't care. She was like, well, if I don't care, then I have to care because she won't. I don't know what I did for her to get the car, and she can't give it to me just like that. So it became an argument, and my chaperone at that moment was like, I shouldn't say anything again. I'm like, but I don't care what you did to get the car because you want to please the public that you bought the car. You've given me a car as my price. So how you did it is none of my business. So that's where everything started happening. She wasn't giving me allowance. She was asking me to raise 10,000 cedis every month. And we moved into the Miss Ghana house, which was at Spintex, Manetville.
Okay.
I moved in with the first one happened.
So you just had Nana Akua-Befi, she's Miss Ghana 2013. Of course, these allegations have shocked many. There are a number of comments on this. We'll get to hear some of your thoughts and comments that you've sent us via social media. We'll get to hear them. Most people are not happy about this, but we are yet to hear from the organizers. We are still making frantic effort to reach Inner Party, the organizers of Miss Ghana, and then we'll get some reactions from them. But is there time, is it more like a time for reforms? How will these former queens prove cases of abuse should the matter end up in court? We are privileged to have been joined in the studios by lawyer Francis Xavier Susu. He's a renowned human rights campaigner. Welcome. It's been such a while. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's really wonderful being around.
I hope you're doing well.
By God's grace, you're doing well.
Well, so I'm sure you've been monitoring. You've heard about this Miss Ghana, former beauty queens, and the allegations against the organizers of the beauty pageant. First, is this new?
Well, first of all, I think the allegation is new. However, I don't think that what the beauty queen was talking about is entirely new.
Okay.
I only think that as the society become more educated, more empowered, people come out to really speak about these abuses, and I think that we need to commend the beauty queens for coming out to boldly speak against these abuses. And perhaps they don't need to just speak about them, but I believe that they should be able to demand for some ransom, you know, for the violations. And I don't think that this is exclusive to Ghana. Recently, I mean, in the US, we had allegations of artists or, you know, in Hollywood making allegations, you know, against producers and so on and so forth. So I believe that, I mean, more and more people are becoming more empowered in our society, and that is the reason why we have someone like the beauty queen coming out, you know, so strongly to talk about something that she would otherwise not have talked about. And I believe that the reasons why she's talking about this now is not only about her, but she's actually thinking about the society. She's thinking about the possibility of other innocent, you know, up and coming is it
those who are aspiring to be beauty queens as well?
Beauty queens as well, you know, actually becoming victims of similar situations, and I think that is why she's talking about them.
But it looks like she's not alone. We have 1, 2, 3 of them so far speaking about this issue. Well, so what rights exactly do you think have been abused?
Well, you know, in the first place, we must understand that these beauty queens, you know, have a right to work in a very safe environment. You know, if you're in an environment where you are being abused, clearly it is part of your economic rights that have been abused. You know, quite apart from that, whatever advances or perhaps sexual violations that were perpetrated against them forms a basis for an action, you know, for some form of compensation for the sexual violations. You know, at this time, maybe it will be very difficult to have pieces of evidence to prove things like indecent assault and so on and so forth, which are more criminal. But even though you may not be able to prove those crimes, if there are people, other witnesses to some of